Republican Congressman Parker Griffith abused cancer patients and hates America, according to Republicans. In our number 3 story, the fractured mess that is today's GOP is simultaneously hugging the Democratic turncoat as they kick him in the pants. After 12 months in Congress, Alabama freshman Congressman Parker Griffith announced yesterday morning that he was leaving the Democrats to join House Republicans. The move was reportedly in the works for some time, though it came as a surprise to Alabama Democratic Party Chair Joe Turnham, who called Griffith, quote, one of the most liberal people I've known. Just like the failed moderate Republican Dede Scazafava in New York, Griffith earned RNC Chair Michael Steele's stamp of approval, probably a temporary stamp. As to the reasons for the defection, Griffith today realized one of the fringe benefits of being a Republican, getting booked on Fox News.
I felt that the far left tilt of the Democratic Party no longer welcomed me or my ideas, and so I made the decision.
Of course, Griffith immediately slots into that dwindling category of Republican, the moderate Republican, the category that so many in the GOP are trying to purge. Eric Erickson of the blog Red State spoke for the conservative fringe yesterday, writing, quote, Griffith was an extremely endangered Democrat. We should now hope him to be an extremely endangered Republican in a primary. We can pick this guy off and get a real Republican in that seat. Then there are the attack ads paid for last year by the National Republican Congressional Committee that they probably wish they could now take back. In one, Republicans claimed that Griffith, an oncologist, abused his own cancer patients by stringing out their treatments in order to make more money. In another ad, the NRCC highlighted comments made by Griffith that made him appear to hate America.
1998, terrorists strike U.S. embassies in Africa. 2000, the USS Cole is attacked. 2001, terrorists attack America. 2008, the Marriott in Pakistan is bombed. But Parker Griffith says we have nothing to fear from radical Islam.
We have nothing to fear from radical Islam.
Parker Griffith, wrong for Alabama. The National Republican Congressional Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
And Republicans continue trying to make gains in the House. Politico reporting that Senator John McCain has reached out to Pennsylvania Democratic Congressman Christopher Carney to encourage him to switch parties as well. McCain carried Carney's district by 6 points. Time now to call in MSNBC political analyst Richard Wolffe. He is also senior strategist at Public Strategies and author of Renegade, The Making of a President. Good evening, Richard.
Good evening, Lawrence.
All right, let's diagnose this one. Is this move a matter of principled political philosophy, or might it be, take your time with this one, Richard, think it over, might it just be political expedience?
Oh, no, there is a principle involved. The principle self-preservation.
Yes, indeed, okay.
It's the same principle that Arlen Specter showed, demonstrated to such great effect when he flipped over the other way. And look, there is, if you're looking for principle here, a guide to this man's philosophy, you just have to look at his statement. Griffith said that he could no longer stand being in a party that stood for greater spending and bailouts. Well, you know, maybe 12 months in Congress wasn't enough for him to figure out that the party that boosted spending under President Bush was the Republicans, and the party that started all the bailouts was, well, the Republicans, actually. So there is so many contradictions here. The principle has got to just be about self-preservation.
Richard, I was working in the Senate in 1994 when we lost the Senate and the House in the midterm elections, and very shortly after that, I think within a month after that election, we watched Democrat Senator Richard Shelby of Alabama walk across the aisle, join the Republicans. He was then followed in the next couple of months by some major players, actually, in the House of Representatives, Billy Towson among them. There may be at least a half a dozen followed Shelby, as I recall, that year.
Right.
Is this the beginning of something, or is this a one-off, like the time Jim Jeffords switched parties and nobody followed him?
Look, it certainly looks like a one-off, although, you know, you've got a number of very wobbly Democrats who are concerned about their own prospects. There are those fears running around Capitol Hill. You've got a lot of Republicans who are grasping at straws, looking for any sign of momentum on their part. So, you know, I guess if you put together the Virginia race and this, you may come up with an idea of a pendulum swinging again. But really, the big impact here is not that there's a wave out there. It's that this affects Democrats who are in conservative districts, and it affects them because they look at their voting pattern, the tough votes they may have ahead of them, and they say, gee, how am I going to have to position myself if the winds blow in the other direction? And that's the kind of success the Republicans have had so far. The idea that being Democratic in certain parts of the country is just unpalatable. It's beyond the pale, and Obama is beyond the pale, and you don't want to be associated with him. That kind of intimidation is what lies behind this, and if Democrats want to go wobbly, then they're going to be in this kind of trouble.
Now, Michael Steele praised the party switcher, but what's going to happen when Michael Steele discovers that there's a right-wing primary challenge to this guy?
Oh, well, Michael Steele will be just as principled. That's okay, because Michael Steele can just give a few speeches and he'll be just fine. And Griffith maybe can string along, because he's surely going to lose any of those Republican primaries. He may well have to give the warm-up speech for Michael Steele.
Richard Wolffe of MSNBC, author of Renegade and also with Public Strategies Group. Many thanks for your time tonight, Richard.
Thank you, Lawrence.